Welcome back. We are excited to be here. I, of course, am Adam. I am your host and GM for the evening and for many foreseeable evenings to come. It has been a hot minute since we've been here with you, telling a story, weaving a narrative, and desperately attempting the red lights. Or, well, for the parties, maybe not getting them. But, yeah, it's all a matter of perspective. We had a fun first campaign, and we're going to be continuing off of that. In case you are joining us for the first time, though, a brief idea of where we've come from. The first campaign was set in a city that is the last bastion of a war-torn world after they have vanquished darkness from their known existence. A world's fair traveling from city to city, country to country, makes its way to its town, and a group of adventurers becomes security guards for this world fair to do their part and experience a little bit of glory. As the four heroes would interact with each other through the winding streets, through the arenas, through the battles, through everything that would be thrown their way, time and time again, they would come out on top. However, success was not the story for all of them at the end of this woven tale. For some, their story continues. Jin, a monk, battle hardened throughout the campaign, started from rags and, well, still ended in his training rags, but was determined to become better as he ventured forth to resume his training with his own people back in the land of the Hermit's Hollow. Breakspear went a different path from trying to reclaim glory. The Draklin, the young creature, master of his own fate, would join the Thespian, this villainous of sorts group who had plagued the party throughout the campaign, as he joined with them to find personal vengeance and vindication against a foe that had crept his way back from his backstory. Hedera was just looking to find herself after the loss of her spiritual guide, but through the rigors and turmoil of society and human existence, the not so pleasant existence of things that are sentient, she would find herself at the end of the campaign slain. But a kernel of what was may perhaps still be in existence through a character that we will meet in not too much longer today. And then a character that you will get to learn a whole lot more about is Orlenna. Orlenna was an orphan girl who just wanted to avenge her parents and came to the city streets of Ambervale to do so. And while the rest of her party has either moved on physically or to a different realm, maybe not willingly, Orlenna has stayed and is continuing. But like I said, we will learn a little bit more about her in just a bit of time. And that is kind of the tale that was told from our first campaign. A bunch of characters trying to better themselves, trying to keep a city safe while it puts on a world fair, and a whole bunch of craziness happening. The end of the campaign was a particularly grim finale as a dragon appeared and began to wreak havoc not only in its city but as it's fled with its thespians in tow. Did a little bit of damage to a few of the neighboring towns and cities. Mainly Keep Kolok finds itself in not too great a state of affair. This has sent the world into a bit of a turmoil as previous treaties and things like that are on the rocks. And that is what sets the scene for this campaign's narrative. This campaign's narrative is all about the wayward towns and cities, city-states, and countries and kingdoms whose alliances and balances are a bit called into check as Ambervale looks to reassert its stability and its power through its heroes. And that is who we will be meeting soon, is who are the heroes that answered the call to arms, whether they're answering the call to help try to better the world, right the wrongs of the thespians and the dragons, or just adventure for the sake of adventuring. We will meet those heroes soon. But before we get into all of that, a quick shout out to Tabletop Audio. Tabletop Audio is a great way to enhance your play, whether you're playing online like we are or you are playing at home. It adds to your ships, your dungeons, your battlefields, your frozen tundras, and all sorts of different things. It just gives you that little extra flair and narrative, which is always nice, because we here at Cinematic Epic, well, we like things cinematic and epic. But now it's time for one of the most important parts. We can't have an adventure without a party. That would be boring. It would just be one candid shot of a field and nothing happens. We need someone to travel across that field. We need places to go, things to see, and people to see them. So, without further ado, let's bring in our party. Welcome back.
Hey! Glad to be back. Woo.
Oh my goodness.
We're like still alive.
Oh, shut it.
No. Right, so
Rub it
we've
in,
got
why
some
don't you?
characters. We've got some characters to introduce because, with the exception of one of you, returning viewers have not met any of these characters before. So we'll start them off easy and reintroduce a character. Alicia, how are we doing?
I'm okay. But here we go. My name is Alicia, of course. I am playing the character Orlenna. Okay, so Orlenna is a quirky elf from the Elven Kingdom of Orbathius. She stands at about 5'10" tall. She has long, shiny dark hair. And despite the picture, she actually has bright violet-colored eyes she can use to see in the dark. But anyway, to say that her parents were taken from her at a young age is kind of an understatement. But despite that, and in some ways because of that, her father being a healer, her mother being a baker, she learned she had an affinity for baking, and she can imbue her baked goods with magical properties. She wants to learn more elemental magic so she can add different aspects to her baking, but her ultimate goal has been to find an herb that her father had been researching in order to avenge them, because they were taken, but they were taken unexpectedly. So she hopes she's found this herb, and that hopefully she actually completes her mission. We'll see how it goes, but we're hoping for the best.
Yes, and one of the things at the end of our the end of the session, or the end of the campaign, we did also find out that one of the people that Orlenna is working with has a mirror in which that she spied in it a vision of her two parents. What that has in store, what that means, is something that we're pulling on. These are the strings. It's all there. But I look forward to interacting and potentially interacting with this character more as we move on. But we've got more adventurers to talk about, so let's keep it rolling. Jasmine, how are we?
Still very bitter about the last campaign, but I'm here. So.
That's fair. That's fair. If anyone to be a little bitter, it would be you.
Yes. No, you're not. All right. So my character this time, her name is Sequoia. She's a half pixie orphan who was actually raised by Hedera in the forest. She is 4'11" with olive skin and short dark hair. She wears lightweight clothing that helps her move through the forest pretty easily. When she was a kid, she ran away from the orphanage in the nearby town of Crossroads, and she ran into the forest and was she was found and then raised by Hedera. Hedera was the one who gave her the name Sequoia, because even though she is very small, she is strong and sturdy like her namesake. She does have earth magic that she learned from Hedera, but she does actually have other elemental magic that she's not been able to use, or she doesn't really know how to control yet. Her magic is kind of has been affected by her emotions, and it tends to cause catastrophes whenever she can't control it. But she has learned the earth magic, and she's been able to really control that thanks to Hedera. She also does fight with 2 little daggers. That's her close combat style whenever she's not using magic.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out if the apple falls far from the tree.
Ha ha!
Plants.
Oh,
All right, we have another new character to introduce, and that is none other than Mr. Ian's. Who are we playing? What are we doing?
Good evening, I'm Ian, as Adam just said. I am going to be playing Tavish tonight, and hopefully for many more nights after this. Tavish is a man who stands about 6 foot, and he's carrying pretty well armored. And as you can see there, he doesn't like to show himself all that much, so he will be interesting as we move forward. That's it.
Okay.
Really?
All right, he's a man of mystery and few words. I'm sure we'll explore the depths of what lie underneath that helmet soon. But
I know where
for
this is
now,
going.
we've got one last hero, one last adventurer, one last brave soul venturing into a world untold and unexplored previously by any other party, at least in this game. And that is James. What do we got?
Hey. How we doing? My name is James, and I'm going to be playing Epsilon, I guess, hopefully, for a while, like he said. Epsilon's he's a half-dragon human from a place called Green Grove Watch. He's 6 feet tall, and he has fangs, claws, a tail, and horns that crown his head. His father was a hero and has been training him to be a hero as well. And so he has a lot of pressure on him to go out and live up to the example that his father set. His armor that he wears doesn't have any kind of coat of arms or anything like that, because in their family you got to go out and make a name for yourself, and that's when you get a sigil, basically. He carries with him a long sword that has a black and red scabbard that has a depiction of a dragon breathing fire on it, and he's just been outside for a few months, and he's just trying to make a name for himself as a hero.
Dig it.
I always forget.
I dig it. Well, we've got a pretty well-rounded party, and we've got some nice, prideful, maybe greedy at times. Some might even say hoarder, at least half hoarder in Epsilon. As we'll see what is the balance that is walked there between half human, half dragon, and which kind of wins out. So we'll find that out soon. So one of the other things that we are going to be introducing in this campaign is the pre-session, a little bookkeeping, just making sure everything is ready to go, and that for this session is going to be how much gold all of the players are going to be starting with. So we're going to get some dice rolling right off the bat. And so we're going to start, we'll go in order. We're going to start with a D20 roll. Each number on the dice is 10 gold that you get. So a 1 would be 10 gold, a 19 would be 190 gold. If you roll a nat 20, you will be going up to 300 gold. All right. So starting with Orlenna. Orlenna, you're going to roll me a D20, and you have a +3 to your roll for having spent your time in Ambervale in the lead up to this campaign.
Cool.
Dang.
Ooh, not bad. Not
there
bad.
we go. So you will be starting with 190 gold. All right. Next up is Sequoia. Sequoia will be rolling me a D20. However, Sequoia, you were in a forest and gold had no meaning to you. So you will be rolling this at a -5.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I need no money.
I didn't care.
Oh,
Well, that was a good
Apparently-
roll, though.
Okay.
That was a really
Not
good
bad,
roll. Right.
For
Got that
minus
13.
5, yeah.
Right.
130.
Hey.
And next we've got Tavish, and Tavish, you will also be rolling at a -5.
Understood.
Hey, that's a nice looking dice you got there.
All right, look at that. This is a rich party.
All
All right, and now that everyone has rolled high, we are now going to go to Epsilon. Epsilon, you are going to be rolling at a +5
Hey!
for the riches
Let's use this
of
dragon.
Yeah.
of where you came from.
Yeah, it's the human side. That's racist.
At least it's not a
Yo.
place this time.
Right.
All
See,
right,
that's a 19.
so 190 as well. This is look, even footing. How I mean, that's odd. 190, 190, 130, 130. That's hey, look, the dice have spoken. Another thing that we will be doing at the beginning of sessions is we'll be going over things like have the characters eaten, slept, or like are they hydrated. This will be a gold amount based on where you are, or if you're in the wilderness, it will be measured by a different style. For this session, we are not going to bother doing that. We just handed out everyone's gold. We're not going to take away gold right now, but it would be based on where you are. In the level of cost and expense within the area. Most of the time, this is going to be summarized into a gold for each, but again, we're not going to be doing that for this session. And without further ado, it is time for us to hop into campaign 2, session 1, episode 1, and that is episode 1, Familiar Steps.
Oh, look at here. Okay.
Each one of you has come to Ambervale to answer the call of that has been posted by the king, by the heroes, by the citizens, for a manner of different reasons. Whether it's calling to aids for relatives in some towns that don't have the means to protect themselves, or the larger affairs of kingdoms and clashes of armies. Each of you have come into the city for your own reason, and there are personal goals abound, but one thing unites all of you. At your heart, at your core, you're heroes, and you want to strive to make a difference in the world. Each of you had signed up for the call, and you're venturing here from the forests outside of Ambervale to the forests outside of Keep Kolok. Each one of you has made their way through mountain ranges, through forests, through paths, through trails less traveled, but you have all arrived at the same destination. Most of you have, or some of you, I should say, for Orlenna, you've been here, and you've been able to kind of keep a steady life going as you continue work on your personal goal. You've been able to work for a few things, but it was made clear to you that there are a few things that are still going to be required. Some items, some materials, some resources that will need to be found. And perhaps multitasking them just might be the best way to get it done. So using the call to arms to travel to some distant and far places, but make sure that your hands are always within reach of what you truly need. For Sequoia...
Oh, that was me personally. Yes, okay.
For Sequoia, you know something's wrong. The connection with Hedera seems sometimes impossibly far away, and at the other times all too close. You know the answers to what happened are somewhere within the city, and it's about finding them. But at the same time, that spark of adventure, that spark of being a hero that existed within Hedera exists within you. And you know that across the world right now, there are people, animals, plants, towns, and regions that desperately need a stabilizing hand. For Tavish, not fully knowing how, why, what, there's mystery. Not only to you from the outside looking in, but you yourself within this world that you are re-experiencing. You find yourself here because the call to arms is something that you do remember. The phrase, the stirring of the hero in you, the soul that burns within. And so you know, if you're ever going to find that part of you that seems so distant, that seems so lost, it's going to be in those first steps of being a hero again. Speaking of being a hero, we come to Epsilon. Epsilon, you are like a newborn to the world, basically. This existence is so, well, for lack of a better word, almost beneath you. You've spent so much of your time around some of the greatest heroes to ever have walked this world that you find yourself stumbling amongst commoners, just civilians, people who, some of which, have problems that need solving that they probably could have done themselves, but instead ask. And so walking this line of, well, what's being a hero? Is it helping just all the time, making every life better? Or is there a point where something is just beneath you? What is the line? What's the boundary? But you do know that if you want to feel at home amongst where you came from, your name needs to mean something. It needs to be recognized. You need to be recognized. And with all of that said, each one of you arrives upon the sandy training grounds of what Orlenna would recognize as where the festival for the World's Fair stood not too long ago. Being addressed within a field of different adventurers. You see dwarves and elves, gnomes, orcs, you see, just a whole myriad, a whole spattering of different walks, styles, heroes, etc. And an all too familiar person for Orlenna comes to the front and addresses the group. So, some of you know me. I'm Sergeant, no, not Sergeant anymore. Captain, Quetz.
Oh no!
And, well, we're gonna be getting you started in some drills to see what, all of you are capable of. For now, feel free to interact with each other. Let's see here. And he starts reading out names of different heroes and adventurers, until he gets to, see here, and Orlenna, you're going to be with a Sequoia, a Tavish, and an Epsilon. And yes, and drills will begin in 15, but for now, on your own. And he walks off to like a small little area that's like kind of tented and roped off, where you see a few like chairs, which you imagine are for different people who are going to be observing the training that is to be coming up shortly. But for now, you are left to your own devices.
Okay. Okay. Well. So, where are you guys from?
Like Epsilon,
No
just
one?
kind of like
No one? Nothing?
standing there, just kind of like in the cloak, just.
I came from the region around God's Rest. That's close by to where I call home.
Well,
But I have one question for you, lass. How's your aim with that bow?
Pretty good. You'll have
I
to
hope
find
it's
out.
better
But
than you
pretty
give
good.
yourself credit for. I certainly hope it's better than what you gave yourself credit for.
Pretty good could be pretty good coming from me. You never know.
Hey, I don't. Lad, I
How's
see you're
the air
not
now?
carry your blade. Do you make much use of it?
it's not the only thing I
When
can do.
necessary. Oh no, not me anymore. Sorry.
I don't know. Maybe I was confused, but
Hey, I am
Like,
talking to you, lad.
yeah, I'm pretty good with the sword, but I also I can do a little magic too.
That's good
Like-
to hear.
Like hold his hand up and like make some fire. Like
Let's hope that you knew how to contain the fire as well as unleash it. And you, young lass, are their knives the only things you know how to use? Or is there more secrets behind your frame than what I can see?
What's it to you?
If we're
Maybe
going
there
to
is,
be
maybe there
traveling
isn't.
together, if we're going to be doing this training, I'd rather not lose because I don't know something.
Well, I
But
mean,
I don't really trust the strangers.
A good way to trust and live. But it's not much life living that if you always do it alone.
Never used to be alone.
how do you know she's alone? How do you know she's alone? We just got here.
Aye. And each of us left something behind to get here now, didn't we?
I mean, I
Very
was already
true.
here.
So we're all alone and now we're all together.
What do you mean you're already here?
I didn't have to travel. I was already here.
How long you been here?
You know, I don't really know. I'm not really good with time. But I was already here.
Did you see much
So-
of the city before? You know the people that were here.
Not a whole lot. I was doing a lot of traveling before I got here. That's why I said I don't really know how long it's been. I've been a lot of places, and I don't know how long I've been here.
I was hoping you would know something about somebody. I was looking for information on.
Oh. No,
But I
I don't
guess
really have
not.
any friends.
Guess not.
Oh.
then.
So Tavish, are
Hey.
you any good with that sword?
The memory's coming back to me. Like any time when you swing a new blade, it takes you a little while to get used to its weight. No two swords are the same, are they?
That's very true.
Aye, but I can hold my own with it. So don't worry about me, lad. I may not have your magic, but this blade will begin to sing to me once again.
On that note, the sergeant has re-approached the group, and you see behind him that today the trainings are being watched and taken in by the king, Neophytos, Aegis, Anguin, and a mysterious fifth person to whom the party cannot make out. It just seemed like a robed individual sitting with the group.
He's a wraith.
And the captain looks over his shoulder to see if he's still the one conducting everything, and he's given a nod by Neophytos. Sorry. So we're gonna do some combat sparring to see who is or how capable everyone is, and so we're going to be pairing up into twos within each group. So let's do a Tavish versus Epsilon, and a Orlenna versus Sequoia. To go over this is just some light sparring. We're not looking to actually cause any damage, though we do have a healer on site in case. So yes, Tavish and Epsilon, why don't you start us off? He reads out a bunch of other names as well, and so there are other groups of two all squaring up with each other. And this is a perfect time to go over and highlight one of the new systems within Cinematic Epic. That is how we're going to be doing combat. So as we do combat, we will be rolling for initiative to decide the turn order in which players are active in. And on top of that, we will also be doing one combat action and one movement action in that player's turn. You're always allowed to force action. Forcing action, it just implies a -4 to the dice roll that is used for that forced action. And we'll cover in on some of the other parts like armor rating and things like that as we get into it. But as Tavish and Epsilon begin to square off, set the scene. What do we do as we approach each other and you square off? Each of you right now are about 10 feet from each other in a small circle, not too much bigger than that. So it's like a 15-foot circle, but you two are spaced out about 10 feet from each other. To clarify, this is a chalk line circle. This is not there are no actual barriers within this.
So, yeah. Epsilon is gonna draw his sword, and his sword, I guess I didn't finish describing it earlier. The hilt is dark red and is wrapped with black leather, and then in the pommel there's a black crystal that's cut in the shape of a star, right? And then he pulls the sword out, and it's a hand and a half long sword, and the blade is black, and there's a fuller that runs down the center of the blade 2/3. But the fuller is transparent. It's made of transparent metal, but the edge is black. He just pulls the sword.
Awesome! I love it. What about Tavish?
Tavish would set himself in a more aggressive counterpoint. He will probably be more leaning in towards Epsilon with his own two-handed sword, which is about probably not quite as, forgive the term, but a bastard sword, which is kind of like a hand in half, but a little bit meatier, and kind of placing himself in a little bit more of a high guard position.
All right. So let's kick this off with an initiative roll between Tavish and Epsilon.
Oh, the bell clinging. Oh, I rolled it.
Oh.
All right, so Epsilon will have the turn order, which means Epsilon gets to make his combat action and movement action first. Since Tavish has not gone, though, it does mean that he will be able to make a combat response rather than doing nothing. However, doing so would mean that on Tavish's initiative, he will be doing forced actions, because you get one combat action one combat action, one move action per like full round of turns. But Epsilon, you seize the initiative, your reflexes kick in, and you're ready for this duel. What do we do? What's our opening gambit?
So Epsilon's gonna start off with like a little tricky, he's gonna do a rising cut with the short side of the blade, with to like aim to kind of like try to come over his sword when he blocks it.
Perfect. And Tavish, would we look to rely on our armor, or would we look to be striking back at our foe?
We would actually be looking to dip. To go underneath his blade.
Perfect. Which means let's get an attack roll for Epsilon.
Oh, fancy.
Perfect. So a total score of 14 for Epsilon comes out. And let's roll a armor class for Tavish. And this is determined by the armor that you're wearing. So from no armor to heavy armor, which is a 2 per rating and a D10. So we're wearing medium armor currently. So +4 to a D10 roll.
So many numbers.
I know, right?
So that will be a 2 on a D10. That is the advantage dice. So that will be a total score of 6. So Tavish, you're able to get away from the actual, like, the blade like cleaving into you or anything like that, but it does find home in armor, and you find that his blade, it has an extra sharp element to it, as it carves a clear line up the side of your armor, and you know that like it could easily find purchase, like even against the heavier armor that you wear.
Okay.
Your activation, sir. What does Tavish do in response to this?
He is going to close the distance between himself and Epsilon and hit Epsilon with the pommel of his sword, going for a quick strike to the face.
All right, Epsilon, would we like to force an action, or are we going to rely on our armor rating?
Are we gonna rely on the armor rating?
All right, so let's see that attack roll for Tavish.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
That's not fun.
Oh.
that's
well, yeah,
not
that's
a
one of my
tremendously good roll. However, Epsilon does not wear the strongest of armor, so that does mean that he still could fail, provided he rolls low enough. So let's see that plus D10 +2. Desperately don't want a 1 from Epsilon.
Please no.
He stands strong.
Yeah.
Epsilon, as you finished your previous blow, Tavish steps in with the pommel to strike in at your head. You're able to pull your head down, and the crown, where your more like draconic hide top of your head begins, catches the hilt of his blade. And Tavish, you're almost like caught off guard by the impact noise. You're so used to, like, you know, hitting a person in the head with your blade like that stagger, they would be stunned, they would be caught off guard, but you just find yourself staring at Epsilon as he just took the blow to his like head.
Dome piece is too strong.
Epsilon.
So while I'm down here, I just want to like grab the blade of my sword and just bash him in the chest with the hilt of my sword. Just, you know, Give him a real good bop in the chest.
All right. Tavish, it is a new round, so you do have an attack action poised. Would you like to stay on the defense, or would you like to meet the blow?
I actually will go for a parry riposte on this. So catching his blade with the hilt of mine and then leaning my blade forward to try and slash across his arm.
There we have it. Let's get our first roll-off for Season 2.
Hey.
Here we go.
Oh, not the roll off. No, not
It's
the
the
roll
roll-off.
off.
One blade coming from underneath, the other blade poised above as the two warriors begin their swings.
Oh,
We'll find
look
better
at him.
purchase.
Look at him.
The swing
Magnificent.
up from Epsilon. Again, you hear it, his blade, as it scrapes across your armor the whole way as he gets it like into position to be able to swing in with a punch towards the chest. However, you're able to bring your sword down and catch like his blade, push it up to the side, and then bring your blade down so it's sitting just above his neck, as it is a non-lethal confrontation. Now, before we go any further, Epsilon, would you like to try to force an action in any of this, or would Epsilon kind of go, this is the purpose of the training?
Is that a no? No snack? You want a snack?
I think I do want to try to force an action, and I just want to try to like kick him away from me, so that
Yeah.
to try to like
Want a snack?
get away from, to lessen the impact basically of the
Okay.
blow. You know what I mean?
All
I just
right.
want to try to get away from the
Okay.
blow a little bit.
Let's see a forced action to try to get out of range of the sword. A D20 roll.
Fuck around and fall and get cut at the same time.
Don't do
You
that.
see, look, there's a 9.
So you're able
Wait,
to
what?
just kind of like, as you're pushed up and pushed back, his blade like stops here, and Tavish, you're slightly struck with the idea that you could continue your swing and follow him as your blade is long as he's falling back, but you would have to make the decision to potentially strike, not necessarily lethally, but more lethally than maybe the training is calling for. What would Tavish do?
Tavish would continue the swing as he steps back to kind of put the motion in there and to make the point of, you're getting away because this is not the intention of this training. Killing you is not actually what I'm supposed to do. But that was a foolish move.
All right, and this will be a, because you've used your attack action for the round, this will be a forced action on it, so let's see it. D20 attack roll.
My dice said, I'm out of here.
Oh, wow.
That's not good. That's a negative.
Well
one.
then.
So,
The negative.
So I don't that back
Oh
I am
my
gonna-
god.
so I am gonna ask this question. With this motion following Epsilon back, what is the priority for Tavish? Is it the recognizing that it's in training and going through the motions, or is he attempting to best his opponent first and foremost?
He's attempting for it to be training. He's not actually going to try and hurt his opponent. He realizes that this is a training exercise. It's not meant to kill.
So as Epsilon moves back away from the slice, the blade follows kind of the arc of where he would be, but it leads, like, an observer would kind of go like, oh, if it was full speed he would have hit, and then other people would go like, Epsilon made a faster decision than Tavish did, he would have gotten away. As the two of you back up and disengage, the captain steps forward and goes, all right, we've seen enough. Let's get the other two in. And Orlenna and Sequoia, the two of you now step into the arena, also spaced about 10 feet apart. How would we square up against each other?
I think Sequoia would just kind of like stand like braced and ready, like because she doesn't really know what to expect from Orlenna, so she doesn't really want to. So she just hasn't decided whether or not she wants to use her daggers or her magic. So she's just gonna kind of like wait.
Perfect. Orlenna?
I was trying to figure out what she could do with actually do with the bow, and like whom we're supposed to be sparring. I don't know. I can't shoot her.
Thunk, 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 thunk.
Can't shoot her.
There
So at
is
this
heat.
point, I feel like all I could.
For thinking of that,
Oh, there's
for
healers.
thinking of that, the sergeant notices your hesitation and brings up a different quiver of like blunted arrows. So that way you can hit your target. It'll hurt, but it'll bruise, not bleed.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, the captain.
Okay.
My apologies.
Like I'm gonna say you keep.
Yeah, put some respect on his name.
Exactly, exactly. Well, it's a new promotion. It's a new promotion. So, you know.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, I mean, in that case, I guess I feel like I would have the bow at the ready. That's what I do. Yeah.
Perfect. In which case, it is time for a initiative roll-off between Orlenna and Sequoia.
Oh, I can't see. Okay.
Well,
All right.
Okay.
So, Orlenna, you have the first action. What would we do?
I feel like Orlenna would try to kind of like shoot to aim like near like her feet to see how she reacts. Because I would like to
Okay.
kind of know what's going on before things start happening.
Perfect. So, Sequoia, you see her pull out an arrow and then begin to aim, but she aims like down towards somewhere below your knee region. What would be your response? Would you like to make a potential attack action, or would you play more on your defensive abilities?
She's already
I think
low
I'd
to the
wanna-
ground.
yes, I am. I think I would want to play on the defensive.
Perfect. So let's see an attack roll from Orlenna. Oh, I saw that one. It was so. It was like,
Let's
hey.
go!
They'd surround it.
All right, a 13 is going to be a hard one to beat, but we are going to see if Sequoia's D10 plus 2 is going to be enough.
Nah.
No. Man.
You're able to do enough that it doesn't hit in like a joint or like cripple or like make you fall over, but like as the arrow like hits into just below your knee and onto your like kind of like your shin, you're like racked with this like that hurt more than I expected, and I also kind of thought I was going to get out of the way of that. However, you're not taken out of fight, so what would be the response that Sequoia would muster up?
I think, like, since she's kind of at a distance from Orlenna, and Orlenna is also using a distance weapon, she's going to use her magic. And her attack, she's going to... What's the arena's made of dirt, right? That we're standing in?
It's kind of a sandy dirt arena. There's some shrubberies and things like that, but it isn't like a forest, you know.
Okay. So she wants to turn the sand underneath Orlenna's feet into quicksand to kind of like sink her in and trap her and catch her off guard.
Okay. So, Orlenna, are we gonna force an action, or are we gonna rely on our defensive capabilities?
Okay. As much as I want to force an action, we're gonna see how it works out when I don't.
All right, perfect. So let's see that attack roll from Sequoia.
Oh, well,
Ain't
poo.
shit.
Okay.
Ain't shit.
Well,
All right.
Hey,
daggone it. Wow.
All right.
Sequoia,
You know
you find yourself like your initial response from like the pain and feeling of like that the arrow hitting your shin and knowing like what it could have meant if it was like a real arrow. You find yourself with this emotional buildup, and right before you're about to cast, you like calm yourself down and go like, this isn't what this is about. But you pull yourself back too far. You feel the sand around your feet get sticky, but you still have to roll your defensive roll. So let's see what Orlenna does. Is Orlenna caught regardless? Orlenna is rolling a d10 plus 2. See, and that's why the dice tell a story. Sequoia, you find yourself a little underwhelmed with yourself in this emotional upheaval of too much and then too little. However, as Orlenna looks down and doesn't immediately spot a difference in the sand around her, she looks back up and then looks back down, and she's sunk just her feet to her ankles into this quicksand, and she's now a bit more stuck. However, Orlenna, it is now your activation. What would we be looking to do?
I'm over here like I can't stay stuck. I have to get out. But I'm like, but it's sand. I mean, it's not like I'm standing in concrete. It's sand. I guess
sticky sand.
my first reaction. I know, but sticky sand. Stronger than sand.
Like when you make oobleck.
I feel like I have to get out. Okay, I don't know. I have to get out of the sand, but I don't know if I can like roll out of the sand. I feel like I'll just like topple over it. I don't know if that sounds like a good idea. I gotta get out of the sand.
Cinematic epic. You're always welcome to try. Are we attempting to jump and roll out?
I jump and roll out. See, that was helpful.
All right, let's see it. Let's see a D20 roll. I will be factoring in things like acrobatics, athletics, and things like that into this roll.
Okay.
An 11. It is it's not the best jump and roll, and you definitely know that as you you kind of like roll out from the majority of it, a few of your arrows from your quiver are like stuck in the sand and pulled out. You have a few remaining in your quiver, but you do know that the ground is now littered with some of your additional arrows.
Okay.
And now
I feel like
we look
do I still have an attack?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like once I land, I'm gonna try to go again, but we're gonna aim a little higher.
All right, so Sequoia, you see another arrow being pulled out and aimed. This time, it's not at your feet, it's not at your shins, but it looks like it's coming at center mass. What would your response be?
I want to try to block it, or
Block
deflect
out.
it.
Like with a spell?
Yes.
How would we want to thematically theme this?
I want a thick hedge to sprout up in front of me to block the arrow.
Perfect.
Tried
You know
so
what that
hard to
means?
not
It
say
is
fine.
time
I sure did.
for a second roll off. Let's see how this one plays out between arrow and shrubbery.
That's shrubbery.
The shrubbery.
That's shrubbery.
We're like, man, it's a bush.
Shrubbery wins every time.
Whoa.
Son of a biscuit. Okay, I don't like these.
It was good.
Ugh. You know what? Sequoia
The,
is
uh,
not mentally in the right, you know.
The shrubbery like blooms out, but it blooms out slightly too late. And while Orlenna doesn't see where her shot lands because it gets obscured, Sequoia, you are met with an arrow smacking dead into like the center of your torso. It definitely will leave like a bruise or a welt, but you're also left with the feel of, again, just like if the arrow was real, well, that would have been very painful. A healer might have been called over. And on that, the sergeant goes, "All right. Okay, so it seems this is pretty combat capable. That's good.
I'm not.
You try.
And around the arena, some of the other bouts are wrapping up themselves between different, clerics, paladins, mages, sorcerers, all of the sort. I apologize. And you note that back, like where the king and the other heroes are sitting, they all clearly have some form of clipboard or scoreboard or something that they are all individually jotting down some notes on. The sergeant, or captain, looks over the group and goes, "All right, so that's going to do it for now. Nobody leave too far because we are going to be going over some of the things moving forward, but I can't imagine any of you are dropped." And his words are interrupted as a portal opens not 20 or 30 feet from him, and a group of adventurers kind of like stagger out of it, and they look pretty battle-ridden, but none of them seem overly injured as they're talking about some form of adventure or quest or something that they are returning from. The group of them then head on over to an establishment that looks like some sort of bar that is built into like this kind of area. The captain then resumes speaking. "Oh, well, that's one of the currently active adventuring parties. They're actually back from an aid mission up in the north. So that's good that they're all back, and that's the kind of stuff that some of you might be sent on, some of you might be staying a little more local, but again, I have to confer with the panel over there before any of that is decided. For now, you're all welcome to head over to the bar and enjoy some refreshments. You'll find that each of you has a meal card and a drink card for your training today that you can use at the at the bar. We'll meet back up in say 20 minutes. Dismissed." And he turns around and goes back over to the group, the panel. And the most of the group is kind of dispersed. Some go to the bar, others just kind of go off like onto the side, like little bleacher area, stuff like that. What would our party do?
Epsilon's gonna walk up to Tavish, just hold his hand out, just like, "Well fought."
Oh,
Well struck, lad. That's quite a blade you got there.
Yes, it's the one thing my father gave me. Well, not the one thing, but it's the main thing he gave me for my trip.
I'm certain he gave you more than that, but 'tis a deadly thing to be using. You nicked my armor. Looks like I'll have to get it mended.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that.
There's no difference, lad. Armor's meant to keep me alive, and your blade's meant to kill me. It was doing its job, and my armor did its job. There's no need to be apologizing.
Yeah, that is quite impressive armor, actually, to come away with just some nicks like that.
are you hungry?
Not just the armor, but
No.
I don't really need a meal. Would you care to take this drink or food coupon thing that they gave us? I've got no use for it, and I need to find a smith for this for now.
Sure thing. Oh.
Tavish, you
Is
would
someone
know that there is not a smith within this like immediate area. There is one that you could go to, but right now, since you haven't been like dismissed from the area, there's not a smith to go to.
Can't get there in 20 minutes and back.
Can't get there and get it repaired and get back. Then I just... If you're hungry, I'm not, but I might as well join. If we're all looking to have a meal, we might as well get used to each other's company.
Yeah, I have plenty. I have plenty of snacks, but I don't have food. So let's go get some food.
Perfect. As the party heads over to the bar. As they enter the bar, they are met with a wonderful display of trophies and ales and items, relics, silvery. In fact, Epsilon, this almost feels like a slice of home to you as you walk in, as the entire bar is themed around, well, heroes, adventuring, and glory. The bartender looks up at the party and goes, "Oh, there, it's you!" And the all too familiar face of the bartender is looking at you.
The bartender?
Oh, he's everywhere.
From the public bar?
I'm assuming that's the only bartender we know.
I think so.
One bartender you know. I don't know this man.
What are you doing here?
Well, thanks to you and your whole party, I was able to make enough money to, well, not run a pop-up bar anymore. So, hey, here I am, now running one of the only, bar establishments in, the Hero District or whatever. So, pretty cool.
That is fantastic. I think that's great.
Got a new group of friends.
Do you have any friends?
I do have a new group of friends. I don't. Do you see friends? Besides the bartender here?
You said you didn't have any friends, and now you got the bartender here, but he seems pretty friendly with you.
Well, I didn't know he was here.
That's still a friend, isn't it?
I don't
Friend.
think it matters the difference of whether or not you have a lot of friends, but let's just have a seat and have a meal now, right?
Yeah.
So what do you got?
So I do have to keep things a bit more reserved as far as what we serve. So right now I have a flight of elven, dwarven, orcish, and human ales. So you can test kind of what every culture, likes to do. I also have a cold brew that comes from our very own mountain range. It comes from one of the tribes up there. It's served in a never melt ice glass, so it is very cold to hold and very cold to drink. But some people like it. And then, I can basically get most foods to you because this new magic oven they have me with, oh boy. You'll have to play around with it later when you have more time.
Magic oven. I love it. Well, I think that second one sounds good. From the mountains, that sounds awesome. I would like to try
Not a
one of those.
problem. He turns down the bar and then yells out, "Team, cold beer!" And you just see you can hear someone walking behind the bar, but from where you are you can't see them. And a few minutes later, a gnome walks up and then jumps to put a glass on the bar counter, and then you hear his little pitter pattering feet as he scampers back behind the bar.
Dang.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
I
Okay,
would like a hero's feast. That's what I want.
Yeah, not a problem. Anything else that I can get for any of you? And you have a meal token, yeah?
Yep. He slaps it down on the table.
You
Awesome.
got anything vegetarian?
Of course, absolutely. It's
take that.
it's yeah, no problem. That'll be 1 Hedera.
What?
That's just
What'd you
no,
say?
we theme everything off of different heroes and adventurers that have been around, and I figured, she liked plants. I think she made a
You knew
person. a plant,
Hedera?
so I figured. Yeah, she drank it. Well, I don't know if she ever actually had a drink of mine, but I'm gonna say she drank it mine because who's gonna tell me otherwise?
Hedera didn't drink. She didn't need to.
Well, it's my eyes versus whatever you're saying.
Whatever I'm saying.
You got any? Do you have
Hedera
bread?
raised me. I have no Hedera. How do you know Hedera? Where is she? Do you know what happened?
I don't know. She used to come to the bar a whole bunch, and then she stopped. I think there was a trial or something. I'm sure you could find it in one of the papers.
Trial?
And he yells back to the gnome and begins going like, "Hey, where are the newspapers? Find me those newspapers. He'll find it."
Hedera was on trial. For what?
That is an educated person's thing. I didn't really follow.
Do you know who else might know? Like, who did Hedera talk to when she was here?
Well, I mean, it was what? And he looks at Orlenna. Who are the other people that you were with?
You. You knew Hedera?
Well, yeah.
I'm just sitting here waiting for this food, just tapping my fingers.
It was Jin. Jin was cool, but he wouldn't eat my muffins. And Breakspear, the little guy. Do you have any bread?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Tim!
I would also like bread. I can't.
That's all you got
dying.
to say? Can you tell what happened to Hedera? I'm. What was this trial? What happened?
Not too much longer. Tim comes running back with a plate for Epsilon that is like chicken and steak, mashed potatoes, broccoli, asparagus, lobster. Like it is
That so good.
it is a like platter of just like pairings and food, and you're able to just
sit here with a little fork and knife, just working through it.
exactly.
Why do I feel like
Sequoia?
it doesn't cover that?
The platter that comes out for you is not only like vegan. You can tell it is like basically kind of like a Hedera approved style of it, where it is all a like willing feast of like it is something like given, not something taken. And then Tim is like, sorry, I must have taken the papers home. I could bring one back tomorrow though. Are you gonna be around?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. Orlenna, is she staying with you?
What?
Is she staying at place? Can I bring the papers there?
That's fine.
Okay. And he like claps like little pitter patters back down the bar. And then not too much longer, he does come back with some bread for Orlenna.
Yes.
One of the things that the party does overhear in one of the tables behind them is the adventuring group that had come in from the portal before. And one of the things that you hear is, I mean, you're making fun of me a whole lot, but I mean, if it wasn't for me and my scrolls, we would have been, up that creek without a paddle, as they say. I mean, I can't take full credit, and Matilda did give me quite the idea to pick up some extra things, but you were mocking me for my scrolls. And you hear groans from the rest of the their party as they're like, yes, I mean, you're not wrong. I hate that you're right, but like, ugh. If you look back, you do see a table that includes Miles, Maceborn, Duncan, Darby, Luther, and Declan Fitznorris, as they are going over their battles and experience within the journey that they just went on. The party, you would know you have probably about 10 more minutes before you're called back. Is there anything that you would look to do?
What? Because I'm done eating. So, okay, I can't remember which one it is. One of them. I wanted to talk to, but I can't remember which is which. 'Cause I don't remember what they look like.
Let's
Darby.
roll a D20 roll to see if you can remember.
I know.
Sorry.
Factoring in your intelligence. With that roll, otherwise it just like if you were just trying to like think about it in a vacuum, you probably wouldn't have been able to remember it. But almost as if fate itself, spoke up, you hear. I mean, you guys all have to be, happy that my wife made us these gloves. They came in they were the perfect things to have, as this sentiment is brought up about the woven, crocheting, knitting, sewing that his wife can make and do.
So I feel like she would turn around because I have to ask, what's so special about these gloves?
They are you see, they look just like normal gloves on my hand. In fact, fashionable ones at that. You are looking at very clearly like just hand woven, like not bad looking, but they don't look especially like fine or nice. But you see, there, and he grabs a knife from like the table and then plunges it down onto his hand, and the blade doesn't pierce his crocheted glove that he is wearing. And that is the magic that my wife is able to weave, if you will, into her silks and threads.
Good.
That's pretty cool.
Did she make me something?
That's quite useful.
I mean, I don't see.
Could she teach me how? I need to. I want magic.
I don't see. Why? I don't see why not. After all of this is wrapped up, we should talk here at the inn.
Okay. But wait. Oh, the training. Okay. Yes. Okay. I want magic. Yes. That sounds like a great idea.
Then I will talk to you then.
What was your name?
I'm Darby.
Darby. Orlenna.
I remember. The arena we all talked. We spoke there.
Well, I'm sure if you said it happened, then it did.
Did you know Hedera?
Oh, she was that plant lady, yeah?
Plant lady. She's the queen of the forest. You have some respect for her.
Well, that was not a title that I was introduced to. I just knew her as the person that would go vine, and a vine would shoot out. And then allegedly, I guess she killed a bunch of people. But I mean, you know, I wasn't here in town for that.
Hedera
I
would
wasn't
never.
here for that. I mean, that's just
I'm dying.
just what I heard. Again, wasn't here.
I mean, Hedera only did that whenever she needed to protect the forest. So I'm sure if that happened, then it was probably deserved.
It looks like Lur is kind of about to begin to speak before he like stops himself, and then a little like squire kind of pokes his head in and rings a bell and goes, they want everyone back out here. If you're ready. I mean, not if you're ready. They're ready. Everyone out.
Alright, lass. It seems that our time here has come to an end. We should get ourselves going back out there. I'm surprised you can walk after tucking away all that food there, lad.
You gotta eat to fuel the power. At least that's what my dad taught me.
A good lesson to learn.
You know,
But there's also a time of eating too much.
We'll see about that.
Nay. A full man can be slow. A hungry man can be much faster. But there's no need to worry. It's not like we're going to have to suddenly fight again in the city now, are we? So let's get back to it.
Shall
On
we?
the note of getting back to it, we're actually going to take a 5-minute break and catch our breaths before the second half of this episode. So we will see you back in just about 5 minutes.
Get back to some water. I'm about to.
And welcome back. And I am still your GM, Adam. I did not, in fact, change. The party has gone through some sparring, some training, interacting with each other, and seeing that some characters have gotten promotions or have taken a little bit of a step up in life. With a recurring character from our first campaign, the bartender, now owning his own permanent bar within the city of Ambervale in its hero district. So very cool for him. And the party is going to have to continue to work if they want to keep up with the NPCs living their best lives. But let's re-enter the training arena. Let's see what the panel of judges and the captain have to say to our adventurers. So after everything, we've got our preliminary groups of everything in. So as far as assignments go, let's see here, Orlenna, Sequoia, Tavish, and Epsilon, you're going to primarily be working with our Mages Guild under Angwin. And it looks like you're actually going to be getting one of your first tasking orders or missions, whatever you call them, tonight. They'll meet you at the residence. We have you all staying at the same place here in the Hero District. Orlenna, of course, you know where that is. And he gives you an address that is, you know where this location is. Orlenna, you would know that you just haven't moved. It's the same place that you've been staying in since the first campaign.
Yep.
Okay.
So now is the time that we'd like to open things up for questions or anything. Anyone? No, nothing.
Is there anything that you can tell us about this first mission that we're about to embark on? Should we be preparing ourselves with supplies in the meantime?
So you will be given, when available, you will be given time to prepare for missions. And it does seem, and he flips back through his notebook, that right now, most of the missions that the Mages Guild are working on are about stabilizing different regions, especially those that either have a Mages Guild or could have a Mages Guild. So probably something along those lines. Does that answer what you asked?
To a
Not
minor
really.
degree, but I understand. We'll know what we need to know when we need to know it.
I mean, within the best of our abilities. So, as an example, and he flips back through his notes again. We've been typically able to give about a 5 days heads up on different quests, and so, I mean, whenever possible, we try to make sure that you'll have the most amount of time to prepare and the most amount of information in which to prepare with and for. But obviously that's not always something that we can do, and so sometimes, you're just going to be thrown into the thick of it.
Aye, the fog of war does not always mean that information flows readily, now does it?
Sadly not. It would be too easy if it did.
Aye. Greatest struggle in any war. So, I have no more questions. Do the rest of you have anything?
Nah, guess not.
You asked what I wanted to know.
Right. Orlenna, then I trust that you can give them kind of a rundown of the happenings of Ambervale, things that they can go do, stuff like that. Yes, or
Well, I don't know. I feel like things have changed because the whole bar. I didn't know nothing about this.
oh, okay. Okay. So, here in Ambervale, we have a couple of different things you can go do. You've always got the training fields. There's almost always someone here looking for sparring or training. There is the Shattered Pantheon. He points up to like a part of the city that, like, even once you glance at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's not used right now. It's a place.
Collapsed.
Well, it's hard to describe, but it is a monument to kind of what the world is, especially through like the War in Darkness and the Fall of Darkness. So, if you find yourself liking that kind of stuff or wanting to know more, it's a good place to start. Right now, almost every faith or religion is recognized within Ambervale, so you'll find either a major church or a minor church for most of those things. A recent expansion onto the city is a engineers guild. It's taking the place of the Bard College with things going on and people aren't so keen on bards currently. It's a long story. Yeah. Mind some of the protests. They can get a little heated, but for the most part they've been fine. And other than that, yeah, you can enjoy your stay.
Protest? What
What are
the people
they
been protesting?
So the two that have been going on, it's being handled mostly by guards. Very rarely have we had to use any heroes for it, but we've got two groups of protesters. One that is protesting bards, which is kind of why the Bardic College is being sized down within Ambervale. Turns out when a Bardic dragon appears in the city and he's got a whole bunch of Bardic followers, well, bards aren't seen in the best of light, so there's a bit of hostility towards them. A lot of their funding, which was predominantly crowdfunded, has been pulled. And then the other protest is the wives who have lost lives, and they are actively protesting the current lack of sentencing for Hedera after her trial, as they find that justice has not been met. But again, those two groups are protesting within the city, so just keep an eye out, trying to not have heroes
Hold on.
interacting with
What's
that.
about Hedera?
Don't worry, I'll still clear them.
Hang on.
Wives who
Why are we
lost
protesting Hedera?
It was the let's see here, and he like thinks to himself for a minute, and then describes how on a stormy night about like a month and a half ago, there was a whole heap of confusion and things happening within the city. He wasn't there for most of it, so he doesn't know exactly what happened, but he does know that 16 guards were killed, 2 were heavily hospitalized, and were then unfit for service once they healed, and that Hedera was at the epicenter of the whole thing.
That can't be right. That's not the Hedera I know. Nah, that can't be right. Something's fishy there.
Yeah, so she was found guilty, but they are protesting because she hasn't received public sentencing yet, and so, I mean, but that's all I can speak on that about.
Public sentencing. Hedera's dead, and they're all over here protesting her. I know what happened. They ripped her hide out. Now I gotta find out. Now they're over here.
He
Something's
looks
not right.
that you with that statement, you can tell he's like, "What are you
The
talking
fuck?
about?"
Yeah, he's like, what? No, these are things nobody knows. You're just saying this.
Hey,
Yeah,
she
but I was
bad
there.
though.
Remember, like Sequoia was there when the forest like fell,
Oh.
so she knows Adara's
I know,
gone.
but I'm saying no one knows that though.
Yeah.
That's why he's like,
True.
what?
Roll. Let's actually roll me a miscellaneous d20, for Sequoia.
Whatever it was, it
Okay.
wasn't very good.
He again. He just kind of stands there like, I don't have a response for that. Anyway, I think Orlenna can handle the rest then. Yeah, and begins going by his like note taking and travels back to hit the group at the other side of the arena.
I mean, I can show you guys where the house is. I don't know what else he wants me to do.
That sounds like a good start.
Aye, that way we at least know which way to go back to meet up with everybody.
Head to the house. So, as we head to the house, this is a good time to talk about one of the other systems that is going to be in play in Cinematic Epic, which is your total carry amount. Now, this is something that on the back end, we will send all the players so that you can have the typed up version of this, so you don't have to remember it or anything like that. But basically, the idea is anytime that you return to a place like a house or a setting in which that you are safe, you can decide when you leave that place how much you're carrying, and how much you're carrying directly affects the bonuses or negatives that you receive while interacting with things. Everything from no penalties but bonuses to like things like initiative, all the way to -1 to all dice rolls, regardless of what they're for. So again, you'll have an actual chart to kind of consult based on how much you want to carry and what you want to keep around. But that is the general idea for this session. We'll play it a little more loose as we introduce that system, kind of going more into session 2. But now, each of you go into the house. Orlenna, how clean a person would you have been living by yourself for like the last few weeks?
How clean is she? I feel like
Muffin
everything would
pants
kind of
everywhere.
be somewhat in place. We'll see, like, when you're baking, things have to be, like, things are exact. So I feel like there are, like, at least some things would be in place. But I didn't really, like, the other areas of the house, I don't know what was going on over there.
Fair enough.
I didn't go
Okay.
anywhere else except for where I was.
So in which case, let's get a miscellaneous dice roll between Sequoia and Tavish and Epsilon.
Are they rolling for rooms?
Roll for room.
Roll for room.
That's what it sounds like.
Hey, finally got a good roll.
Got the best room of them all.
Right?
The dice have spoken.
I get Hadara's room.
Tavish, the room you enter in, the best way to describe it is you're hit with a stench so foul that you have a moment where you appreciate the state of life that you're in, because otherwise it might have been so foul that you could have fainted. As you're stuck looking around the room for it, and then you see just a bag which can only be described as a bag of meat.
No,
I knew it.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
I knew it.
He's got the meat bag. No.
The meat bag.
That's
Oh my god.
quite a disgusting habit somebody had, to just leave food out and about. Oh, thank God. Thank the gods I can't smell it that well. I go ahead and pick up this rotting meat bag and take it outside and just kind of
No.
look for a hole in the ground or like however stuff is supposed to be disposed of, and just like either bury it in a hole in the earth or just like make it somebody else's problem. Is essentially what
Do
I'm
we
going to be
see
doing.
this happening as he's walking out with his bag of meat?
Roll me perceptions.
Well then.
So
Alright.
it's less about you physically seeing him. So like for Epsilon, you're like into your room and something has caught your eye, and we will be describing that here in a second. So visually, you don't see Tavish doing this, but you do have this moment where you're like, what in the Orlenna, you have a similar experience, only as you see it, you immediately connect with what it is, and you're like, that's what's been throwing off my recipes. I keep thinking that for some reason my baked goods haven't been smelling great, and it was that. Oh, I can't believe it. Jin, you got me again.
Totally.
It's
And
roll.
Sequoia,
Still,
you also
still.
smell this, but also like Epsilon, you have locked into something on the room that you have entered.
Wait,
So-
Epsilon.
Epsilon, you're like, it's a pretty like normal room, nothing too crazy. Everything seems pretty like straightforward. And then you kind of like lay down on the bed for a second to see kind of what you're working with, and you immediately right off the bat are like, oh, this is a peasant's bed. In comparison to the lavish like room style that you're used to, you're like, wait, these are glass windows. They're not like enchanted crystal. I can't just like make them like
Wow.
opaque.
Bougie.
I can't just like
Bougie.
turn off the light from outside. What?
Bougie.
Like,
There's not like curtains in here. And there's just like a broken curtain rod like on the ground, and as you're on the bed, it's like stiff and rough feeling, and you feel yourself like, oh, this is awful. But as you put your hands like up and your hands touch the bed frame, you feel that there's like some sort of like grooves or cuts or something in it. And as you turn and look, it's just a bunch of weird scribbled names as if it's like clawed into the bed frame of things like
Okay. Okay.
small children behind back of bar, Desmond question mark, Ricard, and then under it like Ricard's crossed off, and then it's Ricard question mark, and then it's crossed off and it's Ricard, and then it's crossed off and it's Ricard question mark.
Freaking knew I got Hedera's room.
And you're like looking at what can only be described as the scribblings of a madman.
Oh wow.
And Sequoia, as you enter the room, you're met with like a familiar like feel, and it hits you all at once that you're like, this was Hedera's room. Other than that, the room is pretty empty. It's very underused, which doesn't surprise you. The most worn spot in the room is, you can tell that like she didn't like lay on the bed much, maybe save being tired, like physically exhausted from strain. But the most like worn part of the room is there's almost 2 like feet print where she clearly just stood at her window during like sunrise, sunset, things like that.
Oh, Hedera. What happened to you? Sequoia is just kind of like having like this emotional feel where like she just like can feel Hedera's spirit, and she's just getting like very overwhelmed with knowing that this was probably one of the last places that Hedera had been.
I'm trying to air the smell out.
I got like a finger burning, just trying to get that smell out of there.
Burn the smell out. Trying to
The
get the
candle
smell out.
just-
Ugh.
Tavish, after clearing that out, is gonna be like going back and be like, all right. Just gonna be waiting in the common room to see if people like come back out of their own personal rooms now.
Yeah, I need to immediately. If we have time. I need to immediately go.
Go what? Oh.
I need to go immediately shopping.
Bougie. And Sequoia's just kind of
I
like
was gonna say.
going around the room and just kind of like trying to get a feel for like trying to like sense Hedera's like essence, like her presence. She's just like she's having a moment.
I feel like Orlenna is like, I'm gonna go see Darby. So what's going on? I want my bulletproof sweater. Like,
Are there bullets
So-
in this?
no, but that
Aimed
was
at
just
arrows.
my first thought.
Nope.
So Orlenna, you would be going back to the bar to seek out Darby. Sequoia,
Darby.
you are
Having
basking in the room in which that you know Hedera was.
Basking in the ambience.
Yes.
Epsilon, you are going shopping for fine goods. And Tavish, what are we doing? Are we
Bougie.
going to the blacksmith?
I was going to peek in and be like, hey, Sequoia,
Oh,
come on. We should get out of here.
oh.
Why?
Got nothing to do.
Says you.
Because
Oh.
standing in old rooms does not mean bring new life. Just has you transfixed on what might have been in the past. So if you're going to stay, stay. But know that the rest of the world is already growing around you. Either go with it, or get lost in it.
You don't
She's
know
like,
me.
what are you talking about? She's like,
You don't. You don't know
I
what
know
I'm.
that ever since you started coming here, you've asked one question and one question alone. And that's looking after the woman or creature or whatever she might have been that raised you. Aye.
Something happened to her here. I'm here to. I need to know. She died. She came out here to find herself, and then she never came home. Now I'm finding out she's. There's something.
she found something.
Something happened here.
Well, unless you can make the floorboards talk to you, you're going to
Actually.
find more of things out here than in there. But I'll leave it at talking with floorboards.
Don't give her
Best
ideas.
of luck.
I mean, they're made of wood, ain't they?
I've never had wood speak to me, so that's all your
Because
business.
you don't know how to talk. You ain't asking the right questions.
With
Woods
that,
and stone keep their secrets.
He's like,
but alright,
he's like,
I'll
moving
trust
right
and
along.
steal.
with that, we will roll initiative to decide who will be embarking on their little solo outing first.
Damn. I rolled the lowest.
To the
of everybody.
blacksmith we go.
Man, that is quite a nice dice, I must say. I like your new dice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Clean.
I'm pretty proud of it.
I just changed my little bit.
So Tavish, we're off to a blacksmith. There are a few that you can go to. There is a based on like a little map of the city that you're able to find. There is a human blacksmith, an dwarven blacksmith, an elven blacksmith, and then a gnomish blacksmith. Which of the types of blacksmith would you go to?
What kind of armor is that? Edward.
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 Edward. I don't know any man named Edward. I'd probably go to the human. That's what I know the best. It's most familiar
Perfect.
with.
You get there, and you can tell that it's seen better days as far as blacksmithery goes.
Dang.
They definitely have the ability to have probably 12 blacksmiths operating at one time, though it does seem like right now there's only 2. A younger one and an older one. Which would you approach?
I wonder what's going on.
Probably the older one.
I knew it. Get the master.
Oh, hello. How can I help you today?
I need to see what armor you have and whether or not repairing my own is better cost-wise, or if I should just invest in a new suit. Would you mind showing me what wares you have?
Oh, of course, yes. Right over here, and he shows a decent grouping of different like chain mails, like scale mails, plate mails, all in a relatively low-ish level of quality. Like, it's a sturdy build. It's not shabby. It's just not excellent.
Would I know that it's better or equal to the armor that I'm currently wearing?
It would be kind of like in the same par. Like, it's definitely not. You wouldn't say it's better. You wouldn't say it's worse. Like, there are elements of like this one's better in this way, that one's better in that way, kind of thing.
Gotcha. I just kind of show him the nick in my armor and be like, "Do you think you could fix that wee little spot right there?"
He like runs his finger across it to kind of like gauge the depth of it. That was a fine blade that cut.
Aye, it was.
Huh. I mean, that wouldn't be too hard to fix. I something like that. And he looks over to you. He goes, Mix, come over here. And the younger one comes over, and you could gauge that he's probably in somewhere in the age of 13 to 15.
Oh.
And they kind of like mutter to themselves. Would you listen in on their mutterings, or?
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Just a wee bit.
Just
Hey,
a
just
little
a
bit
little
of the mutterings.
Even.
Do I have? I do perception as a skill.
You're not able to catch every word they say, but the general like back and forth that they have is like, do you think it would be better to like match a metal type, place a wire like into the cut, melt it in, and like create kind of like a long patch like through it, or if they should use like a more like liquid metal, use a liquid metal and then use like magic to like settle it in rather than using like a more traditional approach. They kind of go back and forth a few times, and the thing they come down to is it really is about price. The magic way is just more expensive, but less can go. Like it's less skill set based versus the more traditional approach, which is cheaper because they have everything that they need. It just is something that has more room for error.
At least they're not plotting.
And that's how we'll steal his gold. There is no talks of any sort of shady business. They kind of collect themselves, and then I'm so sorry. They then
We're so
present this idea to you, the two different styles, basically.
Well, how much does each one cost, if you don't mind me asking you? That will help me understand.
Yeah.
He scribbles down a few things. He's like, well, material, okay, time, blah blah blah. We could do the repair for. We could do the repair for about 15 gold. If we want to go for the magic approach, that would run you 40, as we would have to outsource some of the materials, and then we would need to go get a binding scroll.
And just humor me as I say this. I point to one of the armor sets that's very similar to my own. How much would that cost if I traded in the armor that I'm wearing currently?
Roll me a barter. A barter is a charisma check that you can opt to use any charisma skill that you have or don't have. So which one would you like to use?
Oh no.
I would use diplomacy.
Like, I don't have any.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, I'm gonna go to the store and I got no
I-
charisma.
So
No charisma.
I
Get
would use diplomacy to try to, phrase the question like, it'd be a good deal. You'd have a new project to work on and to refine your own skills with, and
You're
I
getting
would
on
get a
better.
new set of armor.
let's see that dice roll.
Oh,
Pretty good.
oh,
All right.
bad
Again,
at
they kind of banter back and forth with each other for a little bit, and it's along the lines of like the pros and cons, the reasons why not. Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. They come to the agreement that they could part ways with one of the medium suits, which would be the equivalent armor style to the one that you're wearing, for a total of 30 gold, or they could trade out one of their heavier suits for your armor for a total of 80 gold.
it's the music.
Clapping.
Right.
I feel like it slightly feels like Jeopardy too.
Well, lads, I think we have ourselves a deal. I'll take one of
An
the
accord,
heavier
be a
suits
pirate.
of armor.
All right. So with that, that is 80 gold. So that's going to put you down to
50.
50. Yes.
Look at you, mathing.
This deal maker. That was so smart.
And they do you want Max to help you suit up, or
No. I've got this on my own, dude. Thank you, lad. I'm used to putting on my armor by myself. I need to get back into the habit of doing it again.
you've got stalls over there? And he points to an area where you can do that without stripping in public.
Decently. Thank you, lads.
I appreciate that.
Well appointed
I
shop.
don't enjoy being stark naked in front of strangers.
This a little bit.
I go and change out the armor. Bring it out. Kind of take my time, both getting my own armor off and neatly stacked in one spot, and then taking the time to kind of like fully understand, okay, this connects to here, that connects there, to make certain when I put on the armor, I know how to do it by myself, and I can kind of have the mechanics of it all down.
Perfect. And on that, we will travel to a different adventurer. So let's see who is going up next. Epsilon, Orlenna, Sequoia, once more into the blender with some dice rolls.
Oh.
4 dice. I
Oh,
rolled
looks like
terribly.
Not-
God
Not
dang.
me. But where do you
Sequoia!
Are you just still in the room? I don't think
I'm
you
still
made a
in the room.
decision.
So
I'm still in the
Okay.
room.
Yeah.
Sequoia, as you're standing in the room that Hedera was, and you're feeling kind of this presence, this warmth, this glow. You realize that it's connected to a few other places or ideas or moments or something. There's just this energy about the feeling of it, and you're reaffirmed in your coming to Ambervale was the right choice. There's something more to everything here, and you just have to explore it. You just have to find it. You also are struck with this feeling of how do I want to say this? You're struck with this feeling of knowing that there are some grander things at work. And this idea of you think back to a moment in your childhood with Hedera. One of the first times she sat with you and taught you how to tend to plants, how to interact with nature, and how, if you rush, if you're too greedy, if you're too rough with them, you'll break their roots, you'll bend their leaves, their stems, and you can do damage to even things below the surface, things that you couldn't see, as things can become so tangled in the roots, as everyone's just trying to find their way in life. At the same time, sometimes it is important to know that a more sturdy hand is meant to be there, as she pulls a carnivorous vine from a tree that otherwise would have been defenseless against this aggressive, nutrient sapping organism, and finds it a better home that is less destructive. And you get this feeling as this memory passes that your nature, your emotional aggressiveness, this temper inside you, is going to be tested in these city walls. Will you find yourself wanting, or will you measure up the challenge? And that's the thought that comes through your head. All right, let's see a dice roll between Orlenna and Epsilon.
I swear. Don't fail me now. New dice.
Take a nap. Take a nap.
Come on,
Oh.
boy. Come on. Come on. I know you didn't just do me like that. I'm lost, son. I'm lost in the city. Not the blood splatter. Not the boom.
At least it
with
wasn't
that,
flooding of sadness.
Yeah, I
with
changed
that,
it up.
Epsilon just doesn't even get to go anywhere. It's just
No!
he wanted to find nice things. He walked into this world's equivalent of like $1 store. It's like, what? No, this is all just cheap.
No! Where's the Egyptian cotton?
A thread count of 4? What?
Is this? Why are you selling me hay?
This feels like toilet paper.
So,
burlap.
Orlenna, you're off to meet with Darby, correct?
Yes. Darby. Yeah.
Perfect.
Darby.
So you
Darby.
head to the bar. They're sitting at one of the tables, sipping what is a surprisingly large mug for his frame. is Darby.
You a heavy drinker.
He's a heavy drinker. No. Okay. Anyway. Hey! I'm back!
Oh, yes. Hi. Would you like a hot cocoa?
Is that what that is?
Oh, of course. And they're not normally served in mugs this big, but it's a special for me. I had him order for me, you know.
I'm okay for now, but thank you. I'll have to try it one day, just maybe a regular sized one. Not that big. Not that
Suit
big.
yourself.
Oh my god!
That was so funny.
That wasn't hot chocolate. Come on, son.
Okay. The automatic
Right there behind me.
So, about these, gloves. Can she make sweaters?
I mean, I suppose so. Yeah.
What kind of things can she...
Hmm?
What kind of things can she... What other things can she make them do?
Oh. I don't suppose I've ever asked. I've always just said, you know, something to make me not die.
I mean, that's understandable. I guess I would want to know what it could keep me from dying from, I guess.
Huh. That's another good question. I'd have to ask her. Most of the time, for me, at least, because I cast magic with my hands, I typically just say, you know, things like stopping arrows, because, you know, you never want to be like, oh, I'm going to cast a spell, and then, oh, I've got an arrow in me.
Have you taken an arrow to the knee before?
Oh, no, I can't imagine I would be an adventurer after that.
That's fair.
Ooh.
Well,
Ooh.
how... I'm interested in a sweater. I'm trying to find out how I can get a sweater, if I can exchange possibly baked goods or other things for the sweater, or how this could work.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could work something out for some baked goods and probably some gold, as it does cost a decent bit to make these things. I mean, she makes them for me for free, but, you know, that's because I married her, despite her father's wishes.
You married her anyway.
Gonna marry her anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, would this be something better I talk to her about, or what should we do? What do you think?
I do think it'd probably be best if you did speak to her, as you know, she'd be the one making it. However, I will say she's probably not going to be back for a little bit. She's off on one of the adventures, off to a lighthouse of some sorts or whatever. And so she's supposed to be back within the next week, but you know, they don't exactly say specifics. But I could take a note down as what so that way she could prepare at least.
She can prepare?
Well, yeah. So I
Okay.
could say I
mean,
talked to, you
that
know, this lady and she said. So what
Okay,
kind of
well, that's fine.
Okay.
What kind of what?
Talk to Orlenna. Defensive, stylish sweater.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I should note down?
I, I guess since we don't know, I wanted to kind of ask, I guess, if it could, other than sharp objects and projectiles, if she had any way to have it protect against different magics, because you don't do that, but you know.
Ability of defense. Not a problem. I mean, yeah, I'll make sure I get that to her when she's back.
Okay. If for some reason we're not here when she gets back, you can write a note and leave it at our house.
Oh, I'm sure. What's your address? And you can tell him your address.
Yeah, because I don't know the address.
Address is
5.
6464 Heroes Avenue.
Over here, like, we're at house number 2. I don't know.
The one that
We're in
smells
the
like rotten
hero
meat.
house.
Oh no,
I'm
not
gonna have to go
not
back and
rotten
burn
meat.
that. I'm gonna have to burn the meat
Not
up.
the meat
I'm sorry,
house.
y'all.
Not the meat
I'm
house.
gonna have to burn it.
Not the meat house. Do they still do they still incense around here? Okay. Okay. So I gave the address. Okay. I think that's it. But also, I don't want to be rude when I do talk to her. I don't know her name.
Oh, Maggie is her name.
Maggie. Okay. Okay. Goodness. Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you. Except, actually, one more question. Where did you guys have to go on your mission? What did you do?
Oh, for us, we were sent to a junglish region. We had to fetch a set of eggs for the king. He's looking for his next steed into battle. And so there was a tribe that specializes in things like that, and so we're hoping that these eggs are in fact fertile, though the majority of them are not, so chances are, whether it's us or some other adventuring party, someone will be sent back to that region to fetch more eggs.
Oh. Okay. Were they hard to get?
Well, it could be easier, could be harder. And on that, he's interrupted by a very drunk Miles Maceborn, who's like,
Oh god.
you can't. All I'm saying, mate, is look. If I didn't have that scroll, speaking to beasts, that would have been a very angry, whatever it was.
He looked like he could throw him back. Speaking? Okay.
He used a scroll so he could speak with one of their pterosaurs. They're large bipedal monsters, creatures, whatever you want to call them. They're rather ferocious, so just kind of was a bit good that he did have that scroll on it. Though it really wasn't his idea; it was his Matilda, as he likes to say.
Well, I mean, if for some reason we get sent to do that, I guess that's good. That's good to know. I will remember that. I'll remember that. Hopefully. But
I'm
thank you.
gonna get him home before he breaks things, and he puts a arm under his arm over his shoulder and begins walking him out. And we'll be speaking again soon, Orlenna. So I look forward to that.
Thanks, Darby. This is why he drinks hot chocolate. Yikes.
Designated
And-
walker home.
Epsilon. What type of fine goods would you be looking for?
He's prioritizing because he's got to be realistic, right? You can't get everything you want at once. This is gonna be
Probably doesn't know how much
a
things
project,
actually
probably. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know he wants some good stuff, so we're first gonna go look for a good bed. That's the most
Okay, so I have
important
a
part
question.
first.
Has he ever had to
right.
buy things on his own? Does he know how much things actually cost?
We about
Like,
to-
this is a legitimate question.
Nah. He other than like buying supplies along the road, he's never had to like go to a store and buy some shit like this, like a
Saying,
major
like-
purchase like this. They just let this
He probably-
unrestrained 18-year-old out in the world looking to get scalped out here by the big furniture salesman.
I mean,
Oh,
I feel like that's a legitimate question. I was just checking.
So,
look,
for-
legitimate question, but also bad flavoring for our GM Adam. Oh, it's so sad for me that you done said this. I'm just gonna say
He was already there.
he might have been, but now he definitely is.
So you've got a couple of different like vendors that are set up within the city, saying they sell fine goods, things like that. You've got Tall and Small Shipping Company. You've got nothing better than goblins, and
Nothing
you've
better
got
than goblins.
you've got Procurement Inc.
You gotta remember, this is Ambervale Fine Goods.
So which of the three would you like to peruse?
All right, so definitely, automatically, number 2 is struck. And then I wanted to say number 3 sounds interesting, but at the same time, somehow it feels like I'm going to be buying like a stolen bed. So I'm going to go with big and small, or big and tall.
Fell off the back of a truck.
Right?
Procurement, they
Small and
procured that
tall.
out of someone's pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I said it fell off the back of a truck.
Procure a bed
Um,
out of it.
Stole it out of
Tall-
like someone else's actual house.
Tall and Small.
Tall and small.
There it is.
As you get there, their logo is a gnome sitting on the shoulder of a like half giant, and they're both like waving like.
Of course.
And now I'm regretting where I am.
Would you turn away? Would you go somewhere else?
Oh God, let's go look at procurement. He just immediately just profiled this store and said, nope, turn around.
Little you know, procurement. That's people that got evicted, and that's just all their leftover furniture.
Right, some foreclosed furniture.
Noted.
They got bed bugs in it.
Epsilon is sizest towards the tall and small.
Oh,
Terrible.
So as you get to procurement, you note that storefront wise, it is tiny in comparison. In fact, in comparison to the building that you had walked up before, procurement almost seems like a booth. But it is a very nice looking marbled building with gold inlay around like the seams of it, and from the look, it's actual gold. Its windows are crystalline, and they shimmer in hue with like a rainbow texture to them.
He's like,
Ah.
It's a meat vendor all over again.
okay, it is. That's what I'm saying. This
Nah,
man loves to
this-
just put these shiny things out here. Oh,
This
Sketchy
man.
meat man.
it's a trap. They could be like,
Yeah.
gotcha, bitch.
This man knows, like,
No.
oh,
oh.
this is what opulence supposed to look like. I don't know how to spend money. I'm 18 and I just got handed a bag full of gold. This looks right.
Oh, well, he
Like
said it was
every
so small. It's like
18-year-old.
I wanted to say I would go somewhere else, but he's like, oh, it looks so nice. I want to make sure
These windows.
around the building. Like, how is this part of town that we're in?
All three of these are in not the nicest part of town, but they are in the nicer part of the market district. So they're like, this is where the nicer part of town would shop, but it's just like stores aren't put in the nicest part of town.
Like I
Let's
said,
just
Amber Bill,
let's
fine, good.
go on in, get scalped. Let's go. It's fine.
You you open the
Physically and
door.
financially.
You're so
The
sick.
door opens absurdly smoothly and completely
Oh,
silently.
that's luxury. You see, they. Oh,
As the door closes behind you, the hustle and bustle of the town outside gone. And you are just in this perfectly quiet room. As you take your steps across, like towards the person at the counter, the room has the like aesthetically perfect, like you make like the like with your feet, like the clicks of your feet are like the perfect volume as they bounce like around and back to you, and then you step on. You step like on the rug leading up to like the front counter, and it feels like you weigh 10 less pounds just as you step on this rug. Like it cushions your feet, your ankles, your knees, and you're like, oh, this is a nice rug.
let me just say now, I just picture the future of Epsilon. This campaign, this man makes it. It's just any gold this man gives me is just gonna be spent here upgrading his room. All his gold is gone. It's gone.
Assuming this is real, because at this point, this could be an illusion and a trap. We're gonna find out.
I thought about that too, but I was like, I'm just going in.
The person behind the counter is obscured visually by a hood, and they lean forward as you get close to them, and as they lean forward, the small candles that are on the front counter perfectly illuminate their face, and he looks at you and goes, hello, sir. How can I help you today?
I find myself in the market for a new bed and frame. I wanted to see what your selection looked like.
Well, here at Procurement Inc., our selection is ever so quiet. So, what type of bed were we thinking about?
I like my
As
bed
you
to be. I was gonna say I like my bed to be firm, but firm with a lot of pillows.
Okay, so something maybe with a hide top coat that gives that little bit more resistance, still with a little give underneath. Probably I'm thinking a Chimera leather top. Gives it that flexible frame with a under cushion of the cotton from a pixie willow.
That sounds perfect. Oh, it's gonna be way outside. It's gonna be too much money. Oh
He about to buy
God.
it on credit, and this man's gonna own his life.
When would you like to have your bed, sir?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Expedited delivery, not a problem. And are you looking to pay up front?
Well, how much will the bed cost?
Let's see here. Expedited delivery, Chimera leather, pixie willow interior.
No.
Roll me a barter. What charisma skill would you like to use?
Don't you know I got no charisma? Got no
All right.
riz.
Let's see an unmodified roll, and this is a part of a new system where a 20 is the best this character can do, but it does not incur any other bonuses, as without a point in a skill, you cannot crit.
Fuck.
Damn.
Come on, dice! Why you do me like this? Please.
Okay.
Help me, dice.
We could do all of this for 2,200.
2,200. Oh.
Bro, you don't even have a down payment.
So I guess we're not paying up. I told you, you about to own your whole life. Continue.
Oh, you for the rest of your days.
It's about to
Better
be
go
like
back to the
this is
tall
about
and
to
the
be
small over there.
the saddest shit in the world. So how much for just the mattress?
Oh, is an expense an issue for you, sir?
I've only just arrived in town, so I'm still building up my my fortune.
Oh,
It,
fortune.
not a problem at all. Well, one of the things we could do is set up a flexible payment plan.
This man literally
it's a
trying to
trap.
get me up in here looking dumb. Oh my
Better go
god.
back to the tall and the small and see what you can get down there.
Actually,
It's a
sir,
trap.
if you don't mind me saying,
Oh
you
my
seem
God.
quite capable. Do you fancy yourself an adventurer?
That's correct.
Of course you are. With a sword like that,
Oh my god.
You better not trade that sword, bro.
So-
There ain't no way.
Dare.
one of the things I could do is if you, within, say, the next month, deliver a package for me to this address, and he scribbles on a piece of paper,
God.
You about
to the city of
Freaking
Vice,
Ooh.
I could take care of this bed for you pro bono.
He's got you smuggling.
How do I say Epsilon's a drug runner?
He don't even have anything. Okay, it sounds too good to reveal.
Oh
It sounds too good.
He gonna give it to you.
No.
So like he's gonna like pull out a map real quick just to calculate this real quick, how far away that'd be with what's going on, you know.
His turn. You went to a
It
smuggler.
is quite a distance, as it is literally on the other side of the entire landmass. It is the opposite coast, but a month, like, it is definitely doable.
Your daddy would not
Oh.
be proud.
Got you running
Oh.
drugs and like other like illegal substances. Who knows?
Who knows what you doing out here,
Can
bro?
I get a just like a
Nefarious deal.
wisdom roll? I can't decide. Can I get like a just a
Oh, we're gonna see how the dice settle the decision. I love it. Let's see it. A D20 wisdom.
I'll just know I have no wisdom either, so
Why would you do
He's gonna have
that?
to try. He
okay, well, we doing it. We
Oh
doing
my
it, baby.
God.
We doing it. We
That was
doing
even
it.
worse.
Oh my God.
My dice is terrible
Holy
right now.
crap! That was even worse.
Where do I
Yikes.
He pulls out a clipboard from underneath it, or like underneath the desk. He scribbles in like details about like what is happening, and he turns it around. This is standard Ambervalian contract. It basically is just saying that I'm not asking
Sure
you to
is.
do anything that would break a law within
Oh,
the
sure.
city of Ambervale.
Not in the city of Ambervale,
And
but
that,
elsewhere.
you're-
you know.
You're acknowledging that you will get this done within a month's time. If a month were to go by and you would not do this, your bed will be seized, and you will owe the amount promised, or the amount charged, or the amount that would have been charged here, 2,200 times 2.
He's gonna break his legs. Today.
And that, of course, does have a 15% monthly interest
I knew it.
on top.
Oh my god. Oh, this is bad.
But again, a capable hero like yourself, I can't imagine you will have too much trouble getting a bag to a place.
Ruthless.
Well, with that in mind,
Is that what we're calling
what
it
else could I
nowadays?
get added to my room?
Bro,
Oh,
Don't.
What else
do
do
you
you have in
what-
mind?
Oh my god.
Well,
Oh crap!
You're like making a deal with the mafia right now. Like
I know.
Real.
Look at his
It's too
face.
late. It's too late.
Imagine
Oh
He's
my
like-
God.
He's so happy. He's so happy. Oh, they said
Look
they
at
could
what
ban
you've
out
done,
the world. He
man.
didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know about loan sharks. He just traded him to fight. He didn't trade him about what the world is
Oh
like
my
out there.
god!
Oh, there were some gaps in his trading for sure. Okay, there's a reason why he has no wisdom. Okay, so, no, I could really use a whole bedroom
God.
set and some curtains. You
Oh,
know.
child.
Just throw a rug in
Um,
there.
I mean,
Great.
I could do curtains, but I'm always going to suggest going just with the crystalline adjustable windows. I mean, it's just better in general. I mean, they
Holy
better
crap.
sound, better temperature control, and of course, it's just a wave of the hand, and he waves over at the window, and the windows black out. He waves again,
I
and they're
am
they're
so
red.
fucked.
Somebody should have gone with him. Someone should have gone with him to this.
We don't know him. We don't know each other. We're not friends.
True.
So,
True. My God.
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
I bet you do.
right,
And
and
Oh my god.
I only have 200 gold. Not even a full 200 gold.
Yeah, no,
um,
you ain't have that.
I ain't got it like that.
He's like, you gonna have
And-
another package, sir.
the I mean, for someone like yourself, I'm sure like you
Keep
said,
buttering him up.
once you
Buttering him up.
get yourself established and you have your fortunes, you're going to need a safe place to keep it. And that's where the Everlock chest comes in. The Everlock chest, and he gestures over to the side. It's something that we use. We trust it so much that we use it for all of the purchases here at our location. We don't bother using the Ambervalian banks because we trust it that much. It will only
Because you're the
open
mafia.
to.
I mean, clearly.
It will only
Adam
open
is
to
the
you.
devil. The devil.
So that way you can keep all of your items and,
We don't trust the
things
banks, you know,
nice and
says
secure.
Says the mob leader.
On top of that, the nice part about the Everseal chests is they're nearly impossible to move once you magically stabilize them. So they can't just come in and steal the chest either, keeping all of your belongings ever safe.
Oh, I'm so
I see
done.
Never lost.
poorly, but I'm gonna stop giving Adam ideas.
Right.
It's over for me. I'm in. Where do I sign? How
Oh
much?
my
What's the
God.
total?
11 drugs for the rest
So
of you.
with those, it is going to bring your total to to 7,200.
Oh,
200. You just owe
Boy.
this man your life.
Oh,
You a
let me
drug
just
runner
put
for
that on
life?
my thing.
The
I'm worried that if he doesn't
and
kill
look,
my
the
God.
only thing that's going to happen is the bag you were going to take is just going to become a few bags, but other than that, same time frame.
Oh, all right.
Then
Scribble his
all you
name
have to
on the
do
paper.
is sign here. Excellent. Wonderful.
crap.
So when will everything be delivered?
Oh God.
Let's see here. You have your address as 5 Hero Lane.
Okay.
5.
You'll find that if you take a leisurely walk home, enjoy some of the sights of Ambervale, maybe grab yourself a glass of wine. By the time you're back, your room will be made.
Oh my god. Thank you so much. He's gonna shake his head. Thank you so much.
You just made a deal with the devil.
Thank you. And
Oh,
anytime you
God.
need something, just think Procurement Inc.
Gonna
Should
walk
have
out
known
with
the
a little
name
pep in
was
his step.
sketchy enough.
That's what I was saying before.
Procurement.
I'm gonna walk out with like a little pep in his step. Like, wow, it's so easy to get good stuff.
He's like, this was great.
Yeah, let's just forget
As,
about the fact that if I don't pay
Oh wait,
him,
did I get like
just
a copy of the contract?
Yes,
or
you
anything
you
like
do have to have a copy of the contract.
Oh, he actually thought to ask that. Look at that.
He got a receipt.
That's
like-
standard
Okay.
business practice within Ambervale. However, I am going to have to abruptly pull Tavish into a sidebar.
Oh, thank
What?
God. Get away from.
Tavish, as you finish suiting up and you say your farewell to Meeks and his father, his brother, it wasn't quite introduced, but you continue on. There's a person waiting for you outside of the blacksmithing, and it is in fact Aegis. As Aegis looks over you, he speaks. You say your name's Tavish.
Aye. That's the name I go by. And yours?
And he seems to brush past your question. And Tavish, whereabout does that accent come from?
It's an old Aurelian. It's an Aurelian one.
Old is right. And
We have
he
kin from
bursts-
Aurelian.
before you're able to speak, he bursts into his pillar of flame and spires off to somewhere else.
Quite rude, as I remember all of these Ambervalians to be.
And back to the party.
And back to the party.
Bit of wisdom.
I
I've
have-
got perception, sense motive, survival, and animal handling. So
As the
Insight.
party each is heading back, Epsilon, would you stop for a glass of wine or anything on the way back?
I'm just looking at my debt. You know,
can you afford it?
at least I didn't have to
He
give up
doesn't
the
know
money I
what-
have on me.
He doesn't know
Oh.
what that is.
I think I'm just gonna
He
take
will
a nice
soon.
little stroll around, you know. Not really
He's
gonna.
in for a rude awakening.
Would you head through residential, or market on your stroll?
Go through the market, just look around, just see what's out there.
Yeah, you see tons of fine wares. You see necklaces, jewelry.
Plotting.
You see armors and weapons, scrolls and magic books, tomes. You know, all sorts of different things can be found here in Ambervale. You do get home a little later than the rest of the group does. The rest of the group,
I mean, I never left, so
yeah, the rest of the group, exactly. Sequoia, you're already there. In fact, Sequoia, roll me a perception check.
some random people coming in and putting bedroom furniture in.
Changing the windows out and stuff. Dang, look at that.
Hey, hey.
I am highly perceptive.
And I
For
do
what?
apologize. Is perception one of the skills you have trained? Thought I had that down, but I...
Perception?
I apologize.
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yes, I
Perfect.
do.
So the 20 does matter, so which means it does crit, and you have this moment where you're in the room, and you kind of keep thinking you hear something, and you're like, what? No. And you focus back in on what you're doing, and then you realize you're like, no, okay, I'm definitely hearing something. And you walk out, and there is just not one, not two, but 6 people just in the house, and they're dressed in like very fine robes or very fine like suit and jacket kind of things. They all look dressed to the nines, and they're just like installing like hinges on a door, and they're carrying in a big like window thing and a bed and a whole bunch of stuff into Epsilon's room.
You know what? I'm just not even gonna ask.
For the best. It's for the best. They're not stealing. We're fine.
Right. They're bringing stuff in. I'm not even.
Perfect.
Not even gonna question it.
Um,
Oh no.
I don't know you.
She's like, they ain't bothering me.
I go home like
Orlenna
a
and
month to claim
Tavish.
this opulence.
Both of you arrive at the front door at the same time. As you're opening it, those same people are exiting the house, and they're like, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, pardon me. Sorry. Have a great day."
Did you?
Who? What?
That wasn't you, was it?
No, I don't know who that was.
Roll me perception checks for both of you.
Yes, I have it as a skill.
Dang!
Okay.
You,
I mean, I got perception,
Tavish.
but, ugh.
Tavish, like it was very subtle, and like if it wasn't for the fact that it grazed like into one of the grooves of the plate mail, you probably wouldn't have been able to feel it. But you know something was placed into your hand, and you like look up, and they're like feet away from you, and you felt it after they walked away. A card was placed into your hand, and it's just a jet black card in
Oh my
like
God.
shiny black letters that like when you look at it kind of shimmer across so you can read it, and it just says procurement ink.
Oh my god, the fences. They're here.
Oh God.
Well, that's a strange thing now. Too rich.
Orlenna, I'm sorry. As you see him looking at that, you realize you're also holding something, and you're holding a card yourself.
And I'm just like, it's all black.
Nice craftsmanship. A little too gaudy for my senses, but I guess if you like luxury, it's something.
And Epsilon, you
What?
arrive at the front doorstep.
What did they bring? What were they doing here?
Oi, lad, did you have a good time going out getting whatever you were getting?
Yeah, let's go see how it went.
I show the card to Epsilon. I was like, so it was you that had something delivered.
Yeah. Let's go look at the room.
As you all walk in, the front door, as it opens and closes, the creaky boards,
Oh my
uneven sounds. You get to Epsilon's room, and you open his door, and his door opens like without resistance and silently, just.
Oh my God. They even adjusted the door.
And you get in, and you close the door, and the sounds of the outside world seem to fade away. Your feet hit the rug, and you feel lighter, you feel supported, and the room smells of sweet vanilla in this cascade of like lavender. And the window, it was still quite sunny out when you like walked into the room, but the window is this
Oh, God.
darker like gray hue, so it's lighting the room with this very even tone as the orange light hits it, and it balances out, casting a near perfect reading ambience within the room. The bed itself like just looks incredibly enticing to lay on, with its silk covered sheets and pillows, and the mattress just sits perfectly on what looks like a reinforced polished probably mithril coated but bed frame that glistens
Oh my god.
within the light of the room. And then on top of that, as you note, the candles are some form of magical candle where they burn and the wax melts but collects and regrows the candle, so they will burn perpetually forever.
Hell.
You're just gonna sit on the bed.
Are we all in here? Or is it
I'm
just
still in my room. I'm
Except for
still in my
Sequoia,
room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like home. Just like home.
I've been to castles that would want for this level of decadence, but lad, what's the point?
How
We're
much
going
is
to be
this
getting
hot?
a mission. Not only that,
How
do you
much is
just-
hot?
7,200 gold.
lad,
But,
do you shit bricks of gold? What is going on?
They said that I could just make a deal with them to deliver some stuff to Vice and it'd be fine. As long as I do it in a month. Here, you want to see the contract?
Oh,
I'll take a gander at the contract to make
sign
certain.
the contract.
The contract.
I mean, as far as contracts go, it is well written. It is like relatively fair. The interest rate seems maybe a bit brutal, but realistically, yeah, it's a contract promising goods for services, and the service needs to be rendered by 1 Epsilon within 1 month time to the delivery of to a shop in Vice, and the contract states that like both parties are in the understanding that this contract does not void, break, or like interact with any Ambervalian laws in a negative way.
Sure. Not Ambervale.
Blick.
Well, let's hope for your sake we actually go visit the city of Vice at some time within the next month.
I'm sure that we'll find a reason to make our way over there.
Yeah.
You know?
I hope for you, lad, because I'm not certain. I mean, do you have this much gold, lad?
No, but I don't know. I hope the
It's a
hero
lot to
work will
hope
be
for in a
rewarding.
month.
Oh goodness gracious.
I'm over here with a name like with a name like Vice. I don't know. It's just
Let me ask
Look.
you something, lad. Are you ready to part with the sword your father gave you?
That's not a part of the deal. You know?
Aye, but they might take it if
They
it's
might
worth
be.
enough. I'm not trying to rain on your parade, lad. But this comes with a hefty cost. I hope you're ready to pay it, regardless of whether or not we make it there in a month or not.
7,200 gold.
Oh,
15% interest per month.
hey, get out of here! You're the devil. Listen,
You already talked to the devil.
Not gonna fail
He's
this
the one that made a
task.
deal with you.
there's no way. It's a simple job. It should be straightforward, really.
I hope
I'm
it
just
is.
glad.
But
just
with
glad
that,
only his name is on there.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're like someone
not
else
really.
put 4 names into a contract.
there is a
Look.
knock at the front door.
Can we even hear it inside this room that has dampening on it or whatever?
That is fair. That is a fair question.
It is an odd feeling to people within the room that you do hear the knock on the front door clear as day, despite the fact that the hustle and bustle of the town around seems to have faded away.
It is weird.
Well, that's unnerving.
Is anyone gonna get
Right.
the door?
I go to the front door.
I'm gonna stand like
at the
down
front,
the hall and watch.
Playing it up there.
At the front door, it opens up to a small mage She is not a very large person, and she has herself a bird.
Bird.
Mhm.
Hi.
Good evening.
I'm Gally, and I'm here to give you your tasking orders from Angoin.
Understood, Miss Lady Alley. Please, come on in.
Gally.
Golly, my apologies.
What's your bird's name?
Tweet.
Hi, Tweet. Can I hold him? Hello.
And he hops over onto your arm.
How you doing?
Tweet. That's why I called him that. He just sounds like he says tweet. He doesn't caw.
You're not listening to him enough.
Now you're Irish.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't hold the accent, okay? Just leave me alone.
So-
I'm trying, okay?
Here is your first pamphlet. Your tasking
Why
orders.
is it so big?
It is like a folder that, like, as you open it, has like a slip for like each one of you. In it is telling you that the first place that you are going to be heading is down to the Mud Fort. The Mud Fort is in need of some representation, and or Ambervale is in need of representation at the Mud Fort, and the last few attempts at diplomacy have not gone super well. The documents go on to say that while you won't be meeting with them in the most positive way, you will most likely run into the previous attempts at diplomacy with the Mud Fort. With the failings of the previous diplomats being sent there, you will not be being sent there as diplomats, and in fact will be being sent there as humanitarian aid through the hero organization, the hero group. And your goal is to get an assessment of the Mud Fort, its combat capabilities, the actual state of the city itself, whether they're actually in need, and kind of a general idea of why they're being so difficult. So it is a easy peasy fact-finding mission. The expected duration is no more than 2 days deployment down into the Mud Fort. You will head out in 1 week's time, so you have a little time to prepare. More information can be found by stopping by the Mages Guild and speaking with Angoin or Gally.
Well, all right. We're scouts.
And
Miss
on
Golly.
What do we know? What do we know about the Mud Fort?
the Mud Fort, that you would be familiar with. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's roll history.
I do have history.
We'll roll history for the whole group.
Oh, my roll is
That's
better.
It's not bad.
I'm
Look at
very surprised at my roll, honestly.
Hey,
Sequoia
Harvard
shouldn't
has
know
a
anything.
skill.
So the for Orlenna, Sequoia, Epsilon, you are familiar with the general idea of the Mud Fort. It is the Orc territory on the continent. It is a place that is like, despite the fact that it is located in a kind of a more arid environment, the Mud Fort itself is named that because where it is, the ground never dries. It is perpetually in a state of swampy, bog-like mud. This was done long ago, and it was the way that the orcs defeated the heavy cavalry of some of the other armies that they were versing. But now they are basically trapped within their territory, and they're not really allowed out of it because the other races, other factions, other kingdoms, have not forgiven them for past transgressions and or the diplomatic relations they have with the Mudfort. And so that is what you are familiar with in general within the Mudfort. You would also be vaguely aware of the rumors that the Mudfort currently does not have a true leader. For Tavish, you would be aware that the Mudfort in general, like the culture. Oh, sorry. The culture in general leads to a very leaders have short reigns, as unless they are really strong enough to wield the gauntlet of leadership, they're often replaced by a younger, stronger, more capable leader. This leads to great highs, because you kind of always have the best leaders, but also very low lows, as no leader gets to, keep things going for a long enough period of time. In addition to the things stated prior.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. But with the tasking orders being read out to the players and preparations being able to be made, that actually does it for our first session here back for campaign 2.
Oh.
And session 1 already made life-altering decisions.
So, for today, a couple. This is another little new segment we will kind of be doing at the end of episodes, a little outro, if you will. 4 voices at roleplay. A minor cinematic token is being awarded to Tavish, Sequoia, and Orlenna for playing by the dice and allowing fate to take the wheel. A minor cinematic token will be awarded to Epsilon.
Oh, hey.
Because the furniture.
Boy, oh, listen. Oh, it's so sad. Oh, no.
So, the cool part about these tokens is minor cinematic tokens are meant, there are 3 levels to them, minor, medium, and major. Each one of them allows you to, on the spot, apply some sort of narrative or lore or idea to a setting. These, of course, can still be vetoed, but the idea would be you're interacting with a guard captain and you want to go, you know what, I'm going to spend a minor cinematic token to say I've met this person a couple of times at the bar and we've hit it off. I want to rapport with this person, or that you want to alter something in the past where you want to go oh, we haven't really talked about where my character came from, so I'm going to say that yes, my character learned to ride horses back where they came from. So basically you get to add in these little elements to the narrative, to the story, and they're meant to be used kind of on the spot, on the fly.
And what did we get?
Each one of you got one. Yes.
I didn't hear any of that. Y'all both talking at the same time. So
each of you got a minor cinematic token.
Okay. Gotcha.
And with that, though, the party's settling in. Orlenna meeting perhaps new friends, or not friends, potentially, as she likes to refer to people. Sequoia finding some roots within her new domicile. Tavish being already upgrading his armor. He was like, I know I started with this, but it got cut and I hate it now. It's dead me. New suit, here we go. New suit, new me. And then Epsilon, who is about to find out what crippling debt feels like.
Oh my god, they should never have let me loose. And it's funny to go from the dichotomy of the savvy business smarts of Tavish trading his suit for a better suit to me just selling my soul out here for some smuggling for a nice bedroom set.
And the party, of course, has received their first tasking order. They're going to be heading down to the Mud Fort soon to figure out what's going on there and do a little bit of fact-finding. And what does the Grizzly note if you'll meet the previous attempts at diplomacy mean? Who knows?
That does not
But
sound good.
until then, we will take a break. The next session is going to be Wednesday, March 6th. So we will see you then. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And until that date, you have a great time, and we will be preparing for that next session. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye.
Oh,
We'll see you guys soon.
dead.
Bye.
Crippling dead.
Crippling dead? That's the only thing you
my
can
God.
think about to say in the outro?
Crippling
Oh my
dead.
god, I made terrible life decisions.